Hello, witches. There's something I'd really like to talk about today with you guys. It's about worshipping Satan. Mortals always talk about it like it's a bad thing.
It is a bad thing, though, isn't it? But in a good way.
Not only will pledging your allegiance to Satan make your life better, but it's actually quite easy.
With just a few short steps.
You too can live a life most only dream about.
Numero uno, sign the Book of the Beast.
What's one little signature?
Sabrina made it look like a really difficult decision, but it's not.
But, you know, take your time if you need.
A dark baptism is way better than a sweet 16.
I did get a free little black dress and a new haircut.
Didn't you kinda lose your soul in the process?
Well,
Next, attend the Academy of Unseen Arts.
it's where you'll learn to hone your craft.
And grow more powerful than you could ever have imagined.
You can be doing necromancy, potions that can, kill people.
Plus, the teachers are excellent.
And then you will get to be involved in all the brilliant, delicious bits of the Church of Night, like Feast of Feasts.
A little cannibalism never hurt anybody.
Well, it hurt somebody.
Some people may think that the Dark Lord is intimidating.
Have you seen him?
I mean, he's really just your average hooved man-beast hybrid that lurks around in mines.
He has teeth in his stomach, and he will haunt your dreams.
And from time to time, he may ask you to do his evil bidding.
But it's not that big of a deal.
Especially if you don't listen to him.
See? Worshipping the Dark Lord is easy.
And you only have to kiss his hoof once a week.
Praise Satan.
Praise Satan.
Praise Satan.
Praise Satan!
Praise Satan. And his madam.
So welcome to this video, which is all about witchcraft and the media. Now, the media has been promoting witchcraft heavily for many years, and it's really targeting young teenage girls with this message that witchcraft is something which is good for them, like it's empowering and it's part of their heritage. So we're going to look at some of the messages that the mainstream media and the online media is putting out about witchcraft, and just see what the agenda is. Why are they promoting witchcraft to young girls specifically? And what are some of the messages which are attached to this whole witchcraft promotion agenda? So witchcraft is the perfect religion for liberal millennials, according to Quartz magazine. The Guardian says, Season of the Witch, why young women are flocking to the ancient craft. And you have to remember, when a newspaper says something like that, like why young women are flocking to the ancient craft, it doesn't mean young women are flocking to the ancient craft, but often a title like that means that young women think that other women are flocking to it, so they should be flocking to it. So it's actually it's a leading headline to say young women are flocking to the ancient craft. It actually encourages women to flock to witchcraft because they think, oh, well, everyone else is flocking to it, so let's go and find out why. So it's a very clever headline, that one. Why witchcraft is on the rise. That's with The Atlantic. 9 myths about witchcraft that modern-day witches like me are tired of hearing. That's in Allure. New York Times. Here's what being a witch really means. This is on livescience.com. What's witchcraft? 6 misconceptions about Wiccans. So again, it's like a positive article portraying witchcraft as something that's desirable. How to become a witch, a beginner's guide. That's in W Magazine. The Independent says, what pop culture gets wrong about witchcraft, according to a witch. So again, it's an article which enables people to have any misunderstandings, especially negative misunderstandings, kind of corrected by the article. So the article will go on to say, well, you might think these negative things about witchcraft, but actually it's really positive. And all these articles do that. There is nothing negative about witchcraft in the articles. It's all positive. So it's all about kind of selling and marketing witchcraft. The Love Witch, and witchcraft's appeal in the era of Trump. That's in The Independent. It says it's becoming a strangely powerful time for the witch. In Time magazine, yes, witches are real. I know, because I am one. Which ways, this is The Guardian, which ways, knowing your heart's desire is modern witchcraft. So it's saying, basically, if you know your heart's desire, what witchcraft is about the heart, that's what it's saying. That if you know your heart's desire, then you're practicing witchcraft. Or if you want to know your heart's desire, then witchcraft will help you know what your heart's desire is. Again, promoting witchcraft. Welcome to the season of the witch, and it's not just for Halloween. Well, they're right. It's not just for Halloween, because we truly are entering the season of the witch. Because some of the TV programs that are on TV and some of the films that have been on in the movie theatres over the past 3, 4, 5 years are promoting witchcraft to young girls like you would not believe. And this is the leading example, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix. This program really sells witchcraft to young girls as a way of empowerment. It portrays men as oppressive, and it portrays witchcraft as a way of becoming empowered against the oppressive men. So it's very much a feminist program. The producer admits that it's a feminist program, and it's really it goes deep into the darkness of Satanism, essentially, because Satan, as you can see behind Sabrina, that's meant to be Satan, and all of her relatives are witches who basically love Satan. They work for Satan. And Sabrina, on her 16th birthday, is expected to give her soul to the devil and become a witch. And it's very dark, very, very brutal, very violent and bloody, not remotely suitable for teenage girls, yet it's aimed at teenage girls. There's lots of throat slitting, there is cannibalism, there's death and torture and orgies, all the things that you probably wouldn't want your teenage girls to be getting interested in. Well, this program, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, sells them all in a very positive light. So it really promotes witchcraft and Satanism, very clearly promotes Satanism in a positive light. So it's really selling witchcraft, again, to the young girls. Again, this is just some of the one of the promotional images for The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I just want to point out a few things here. You can see that red and black are the prominent colours here, and that's significant. I'll show you in a second. And you can also see the inverted cross on the eye of Sabrina, and you can see the inverted pentagram in the R. So you've got the red and black, the inverted cross, and the inverted pentagram. And these are all satanic and occult symbols. As I'll show you, this is a satanic church in Colombia. Again, notice the red and black. So like I said, the red and black here are the two prominent colours. Notice the red and black and how prominent they are. They really are the colours of Satanism. And again, right in the middle of the floor, you've got the inverted pentagram. Just like on the R of Sabrina, you've got the inverted pentagram right in the middle of the floor, as you can see, with the goat head. And right at the back, you've got the inverted crosses. So Satanism is all about turning everything about Christianity upside down. That's why they invert the cross. Because everything that Christianity stands for and that Christ stands for, which is love, forgiveness, healing, salvation, kindness, repentance, deliverance, and what's the other thing there was something else I wanted to say, but Satanism turns all those things upside down. It's basically the opposite. Satanism presents itself as the anti-religion. So all the things that we see as the good qualities of Christianity, as I've just mentioned, well, Satanism sees them as bad qualities. Purity, it sees purity as a bad quality. It believes in punishment instead of forgiveness. It believes in death instead of life. It believes in darkness instead of light. So I just want to point these out to you, that the colour red and black, and you've got the inverted crosses, and you can see the hand symbol there of this statue. That's called the horned hand symbol, and it's to represent allegiance to the horned god, which is Satan. So these things are just worth keeping in mind, because some of the other images have these aspects, these features in them. So again, just one more promotional image for Sabrina, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Again, you've got the red and black, you've got the inverted pentagram, and you've got the devil's hands. This is such a satanic program. And you have to understand that it portrays Satanism really, in one way it portrays it very accurately, in that it's brutal. There's a lot of blood, sacrifice, it's really anti-human. But it's also portrayed, it also twisted around in that it portrays Satanism as empowering to women, when in fact Satanism tortures and uses and abuses women like you would not believe. All you have to do is go onto YouTube and listen to some of the testimonies of people who got rescued from satanic ritual abuse. Some of the women who were involved in satanic ritual abuse, who were used by their family, by their parents, or by other people, that were used in satanic rituals, and the horrific, absolutely horrific things that happened to them, like a living nightmare. So while it portrays the violence and the bloodiness and the brutality of Satanism, it sells Satanism in a way which is totally inaccurate, because it wants to sell it to young teenage girls. The aim of this program is to sell Satanism to teenage girls, and witchcraft, because it's all about becoming a witch and serving Satan. Here we go. Just to prove to you, this is the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. This was the old Twitter banner on the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Join the coven. We're waiting for you. So it's like an invitation to teenage girls. Come and join in our witchy world and all that it offers. So it's inviting girls in, promoting Satanism, promoting witchcraft, and inviting them in to the world of witchcraft. Just like all those magazine and newspaper articles that we looked at the beginning, they're promoting witchcraft. And I understand that they're not promoting this kind of witchcraft. They're promoting a witchcraft which is more about getting in touch with the earth and getting in touch with nature and the power of nature and nature spirits. But they are connected, and I'll show you how they're connected as we go through this video. And again, this was on Netflix. It's called The Witch, and again, it's aimed at teenage girls, because the protagonist, called Thomasin, is a teenage girl who is in a Christian family, and basically she moves into the woods with her family, and weird things start happening. A baby disappears, and something terribly brutal happens to the baby, and then eventually her entire family get killed, and there's witches around her. There's mysterious creatures in the woods, and they have a black goat, and the goat ends up being Satan, and she ends up signing her soul over to Satan at the end of the film. So again, it's really promoting to young girls, to teenage girls, that they belong with Satan, that Satanism is what they are made for. They're made for witchcraft, that it's like totally natural. Just like the articles at the beginning, it's saying, well, witchcraft is normal. It gets you in touch with the earth, it gets you in touch with your spirituality, and it gets you in touch with your power. So it's a big agenda to sell witchcraft to teenage girls. And so this film ends with her taking all her clothes off, signing her soul over to Satan, wandering into the woods and seeing a load of witches dancing around a fire, and they all start levitating. And right at the end of the film, she starts levitating too, and the film ends with her kind of going up and kind of laughing, almost as if she's like full of joy, which of course is not really what signing your soul over to Satan does for you. Signing your soul over to Satan is the death of your soul, and there's no greater tragedy in this universe than someone being lost to God and giving their soul to Satan. Trust me. So this is just another image from The Witch. That's Thomasin. She's the protagonist. And again, like I say, she's the protagonist. So this program is aimed at young girls because they chose her as the protagonist. It's all about her and all about her journey from Christian and the oppressiveness. It really portrays Christianity as oppressive and kind of bleak. And then it portrays witchcraft as kind of exciting and alluring and dark and empowering. And again, this is one more. His Dark Materials, currently on HBO and BBC. And this again is about witchcraft. It's about the occult. It's about spirit animals, demons. And again, it's telling young girls, because obviously, as you see again, the protagonist is a girl, and there's a lot of young girls in the film. So it's telling young girls that this is the realm they belong in, that witchcraft is natural to them. And religion, especially Christianity, is very controlling and oppressive. And it's kind of, how would you say, it quashes the natural witchy tendencies. The whole purpose of Christianity is to squash witchcraft and squash women's natural tendencies to embrace witchcraft, and that's why it's portrayed as a bad religion, why it's portrayed as an oppressive religion, because it tries to stop women moving into witchcraft, and it kind of teaches that witchcraft is bad. And that's why Christianity is portrayed as this oppressive religion by a lot of these strong feminist programs, including this one, because it says that witchcraft shouldn't be practiced. Yet the whole agenda of these programs is to promote witchcraft to teenage girls. So they have to promote Christianity as the enemy. And this program does that. And again, Maleficent totally promotes witchcraft to young teenage girls. Again, as you can see, the protagonist at the back is a young girl, just like Thomasin, blonde, innocent, kind of looking around for something. And she gets brought into the world of Maleficent. She gets adopted by Maleficent, essentially. And this film is all about this young girl, about acclimatizing young girls to the realm of darkness, the realm of evil, the realm of witchcraft. Again, it's selling witchcraft to young girls. And essentially what happens in this film is that she grows to love Maleficent. So that's kind of like a message to the young girls to say, well, you'll grow to love witchcraft. You'll grow to feel comfortable in the darkness with these dark practices because it's where you belong. So this message is to young girls, you belong. You belong with witchcraft. Witchcraft is your destiny. It's what you're meant to be doing. And we see this in so many different areas. Again, this is the sequel to Maleficent, the Mistress of Evil, which came out last year. Again, it just carries on the theme of young girls belonging with witches, with witchy things, with witchcraft. And it's all about how the protagonist, I've forgotten her name now, of course it's Aurora, how Aurora grows really protective of Maleficent, and she grows to hate her other family, and she really kind of joins Maleficent in her world of witchcraft and feels familiar to her. So again, it's getting young girls into this mentality that they belong in witchcraft. And here's Billie Eilish, and I just want to show you the similarity. Okay, look at the fingernails of Maleficent, and look at this colour. Okay, this colour is called chartreuse, and it's a colour which is used to depict sorcery and witchcraft and enchantment. And I'll read to you about that in a second. So just look at the similarity between Maleficent and the colour, and then you've got this image of Billie Eilish. This is the message of this image is that Billie Eilish is a witch, because it's got the colour chartreuse, and I'm going to read to you what chartreuse is all about. So it's not an accident that they've used the colour chartreuse, just like here. So the chartreuse is used in Maleficent quite a lot to signify when she's doing magic, when she's doing her witchcrafty things. So chartreuse is the colour of witchcraft. And you can see the fingernails just like Maleficent. And look at the power pose. She's like a cold-hearted queen looking down on her subjects. And you see she's got the big jacket and it's protecting her neck, which shows that she is invulnerable. She has no vulnerability. So this is a power pose, and it's a pose to show that Billie Eilish is like a witch because of the fingernails, just like in here, the pointy fingernails, they reference witchcraft. And the colour chartreuse, which is not only on her fingernails, but also on her hair. She's dyed her hair this colour. So I'll tell you about chartreuse. This is from an email someone sent me, educating me a little bit about chartreuse. Chartreuse is a shade of green found often in medieval English literature to signify the satanic. Think of tales such as Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. And by the way, the company which made The Witch, which I just showed you, they were called A24. Well, A24 this summer are releasing Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and it's deeply horrific, deeply disturbing, and it's interesting that this lady mentions it here. Think of tales such as Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. The very fact that the mysterious knight that shows up out of nowhere is coloured green, and it's kind of like a yellowy green, is a sign to the reader or listener of the tale that he is full of enchantment. One must remember that in the classic sense, to be enchanted is not a good thing. It means to be under the spell of someone or something. It involves witchcraft. In this modern era, we consider a lovely girl to be enchanting, and we speak of a special evening or party as being an experience like being in the land of enchantment. But classically this means spell casting, witchcraft, and oftentimes drugs are involved. So that's the meaning of chartreuse. Chartreuse is about enchantment and witchcraft. And Billie Eilish loves this colour. She's always using it. This is her Instagram picture, I think. And she's always using chartreuse in her images and on her clothes. As you can see, it is her favourite colour. Why? Because of its reference to enchantment, witchcraft, and spell casting and sorcery. She's even dyed her hair this colour. As you can see, she doesn't miss any opportunity to show her love of chartreuse. And she's even brought out a clothing range for young children, and everything is coloured chartreuse. Interesting, huh? Even babies get to wear this colour of witchcraft and sorcery and enchantment, because there is witchcraft and sorcery and enchantment going on. And I go into this more in one of my other videos, but I'll tell you a little bit about it here. But it's an agenda, basically. It's an agenda to bring young people, children, and especially young girls, into this realm of witchcraft, away from religion, away from Jesus, away from God, away from Christianity, away from purity, into this realm of witchcraft, of darkness, this realm of spells, this realm of enchantment and the occult. So just again, she's really selling this colour to young children. And just to remind you how this colour is used in Maleficent. So that's chartreuse, and it's being used, being promoted by Billie Eilish. Pretty much everything she wears, and even her clothing range for children, because witchcraft is being sold to young children, especially young girls, as I've said repeatedly. Now here we have another way of selling witchcraft to young girls, which is through dolls. It's called Bratzillas. Glam Gets Wicked. And these are very, very popular dolls on many, many supermarket shelves around the world, and they're dolls to promote witchcraft. As you can see, this one's called House of Witches, and there's a spell book, as you can see there. And remember, I told you about the satanic colours in the satanic church, red and black, and in the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, red and black, how they are the colours of Satan or Satan worship. Well, here you go. You have red and black very, very clearly. So this is another way that young girls are being encourage that witchcraft is where they belong. Again, another one, House of Witches. Bratzilla's witchy princess. So again, the agenda is to move them away from religion, move them away from God, and move them towards the occult and towards witchcraft. Another one. And again, red and black. So this is different from the other one. This is Jade, J'adore. And again, red and black. And one more, House of Witches, back to magic. And again, you can see the colour there. That's chartreuse, the colour of witchcraft. So you see the colour red and the colours chartreuse and the colours red and black. Red and black is more a satanic colour. Chartreuse is more of a witchcraft colour, a colour of enchantment. So, just to show you that these dolls are really getting young girls, or have been, these have been around for quite some time now. They're really getting young girls playing with this idea of witchcraft, getting them feeling familiar. So it's familiarizing young girls with the whole witchy realm and all the imagery and the clothing and the sense of kind of impurity. It's about moving away from purity, because a lot of the Barbie dolls, and I'm not a big fan of promoting this Barbie dolls and everything like that, but we've moved away. Young girls are being moved away from the idea of purity, which you would have with traditional children's characters like Snow White and Sleeping Beauty and Rapunzel and all these other fairy tale characters which often represent purity and goodness, and they're being moved to this idea of their heroes being witches, of being interested in the occult, into dark things. And we'll see how this is just a stepping stone. Things get darker and darker and darker. So the younger girls get the more innocent things that their parents won't mind buying for them, and then the older girls, they progress onto more darker images and representations of witchcraft. As you can see, these are called Be-Goth dolls, and these are available on Amazon. As you can see, it's the next step. This is kind of more fun, more colourful, and this is the next step, because witchcraft and the goth scene are very, very much connected. You'll find that a lot of people who are really into the goth scene are into witchcraft, into the occult, and even into Satanism. So they really all blur and intermingle. A lot of people are into the goth scene just as a fashion thing, just because they like the clothes and they like the hair. But it actually goes deeper than that. And the deeper you go into it, the darker you learn it is. The goth scene goes very dark into some really dark practices. So it's just about acclimatizing young girls to the feel, the image, the look of this, of witchcraft essentially, and Satanism. Because when you take it to its extreme, when you take witchcraft to its extreme, you find the dark power behind it all is satanic. And so again, you see red and black. You see on the left-hand side there, red and black, and the girl on the right-hand side with the cross, red and black. And you see a lot of crosses. She's wearing a necklace to signify she's not Christian. The cross isn't there to show Christianity. It's there to signify it's a kind of ironic statement. As you can see, she's got all the skulls behind her and the pierced lips. So just remember those pierced lips, because it represents something. So here we go. This is taking it to the next level. You have the Bratzillas and all the dolls. There's loads more dolls which are witchy and encourage girls to get into witchcraft. But these Be-Goth dolls take it to the next level. And as you can see, red and black. But look at the eyes. The eyes, they've got these funny symbols in it. We'll look at them more closely in a second. But it's really acclimatizing girls to the dark side. Okay, so you really, as you can see, you're moving away now from the color, and you're getting blacker, and you're acclimatizing them to the dark side, which is moving away from purity. You have to remember that the blackness represents impurity. Obviously, white represents purity. And so we're moving away from all the pure representations from Christianity, from religion, from God, which promotes purity and goodness and innocence, and moving to the opposite extreme, to darkness, to impurity. And what would you say the opposite of innocence was? I don't know. But so all the things which go with this, which is sexual immorality, really kind of like sexual indulgence and sexual perversion, because this is where it leads. The goth scene does go in this dark direction into deviant sexual practices like sadomasochism and things like that. Again, you see, look at the eyes. Okay, so again you've got the red and black, and you've got these crossed out eyes. Now I think, I've got an image next. The crossed out eyes are symbolic, and you always see them in cartoons when an animal dies. So as you can see, this is a scene from The Fantastic Mr. Fox. But this is just, I could have chosen any one of thousands of images online. You see in a cartoon when an animal dies, just to signify they're dead, you see the eyes get this crossed out. The eyes get crossed out. It means there's no life inside. The soul is dead. So what does it mean when girls are playing with dolls and their eyes are crossed out? It means they're dead inside. It means they're soulless. And this is what happens when you sell your soul to the devil. Just like in Sabrina, she's encouraged to sell her soul. And just like in the film The Witches, where she signs her soul to the devil, it's about being dead inside. It's about being empty of love, empty of joy, empty of happiness, devoid of anything positive, and just dark inside. So the darkness starts on the outside with the clothes, and with the way the body is used and treated. It starts on the outside, and then it creeps inside. The darkness creeps inside to the heart. You can't help but let that happen. The darkness creeps inside to the heart, and they become dead inside. So it's selling. These dolls are selling kind of an inner death, an inner emptiness. And just to highlight that, look at the eyes of this doll on the right. Again, these are goth dolls. Look at the eyes, the skull and crossbones in the eyes. These dolls are for young girls. They're on Amazon. They're pretty much available anywhere, from any online shopping store. And it's the next step on from the Bratzillas. And you can see that it's about darkness. It's about embracing darkness. You've got the vampire look, vampire eyebrows, and the cross on the cheek. It's about anti-Christianity, it's about anti-purity, and it's about witchcraft, the occult, and Satanism, because that's where the occult goes to. Satanism. Look at this. And the stitches, you see stitches on their face and stitches on their eyebrows, and again you've got those 2 lip rings. Just remember those 2 lip rings, because I'm going to show you what the effect of these dolls is. So again, just more examples of these goth dolls, just so you understand that this is what girls are being offered now. This is the next level on from the more innocent Bratzillas and the witches. Again, you've got the interesting, strange, disturbing signs in the eyes, and you've got all this blackness, all this darkness. And it's just, the whole message here is impurity, death. Because the Gothic scene is about embracing darkness, it's about death, it's like about life being meaningless, it's about nihilism. About their, I know where this, when I was young, in my late teens, I was suicidal, I was depressed, intensely depressed for a long time. And I was nihilistic, and I was suicidal, and I didn't want to live, and I only saw the blackness of life. And this is the mental attitude that comes with the whole look, with the whole scene, with the getting into it all. It's this, you take on the mentality of blackness, it gets into your mind and it gets into your heart. And this is the agenda, to get into young girls' minds and hearts, this idea of impurity, and your body being something that you use, that is used by others for the dark practices, for indulgent sexual immorality. As you can see the dress, as you can see the way they dress, it's about revealing the body, about being a sexual item. And this is sadomasochism again, as I said, is part of this whole scene. And just look at the eyes. I mean, the eyes, what they're promoting just through the eyes alone is really, really evil. And again, you've got this proliferation of red and black because the message is a satanic message. Again, you've got the crosses. You've got so many crosses on the dress, on the neck there. You've got so many crosses to symbolize that it's anti-religion. It's not religious. It's a new religion. It's the satanic religion. And this is what girls are being lured into, as you've seen by all the witchcraft articles promoting witchcraft and all the TV programs and films promoting witchcraft to young teenage girls saying that they belong in witchcraft, and the dolls. And this is the destination. It's taking girls away from purity, away from goodness, away from innocence, away from light, away from joy, away from goodness, and take them into this very, very dark realm. This dark realm where their body is a commodity, and they're just kind of like they're to be used, because women are used. Women are used in this whole scene, this scene of the occult. Women are used in terrible, terrible ways. Yet it's being portrayed, it's being sold to them as though it will empower them. So they're being lied to, they're being told witchcraft will empower them and set them free and give them power against the oppressive patriarchy. Yet when they really get into it and they understand, they find themselves in this dark realm, they realize that they are being used by dark forces for dark purposes.
They had put a name on me called Black Widow. The Black Widow actually lures her mate, and actually after she is done with her mating, then she kills him. She destroys him. And that's exactly what I was doing.
Merari Rodriguez grew up in a broken home. Her father left the family when she was 6, and her mother had to work several jobs, leaving her in the care of a babysitter.
She was married to a police officer, and the words he would use were very controlling. I remember him putting such fear in me, and I felt like I belonged to him is pretty much the message he was telling me. And I felt like then it was my fault. And the hatred for myself began to build.
The sexual abuse continued for a year before Merari's mother noticed a change in her daughter's behavior and intervened. But when Merari was 11, it happened again. This time, it was a friend of the family.
He was confronted, and I was brought in to the confrontation. And he opened the Bible, and he put his hand on the Bible, and he swore. And I just remember looking at the Bible, and I just remember making the choice. God does not exist. And I decided I will never in my life want to hear God, the name of God, or anything about God ever.
Merari became rebellious, drinking, smoking pot, and skipping school. She endured a series of abusive relationships and had 3 children while still a teenager.
I felt like I became a label. I felt like I had written all over myself. I'm fatherless, I'm alone, and I have no protection, so come and hurt me, use me, abuse me, because it just continued to happen everywhere I went.
When she was 18, Merari felt she had found the answer to her problems when she was introduced to witchcraft and the goth subculture.
They seemed so together, and they kept always talking about power and how you can have power now to control someone else. And all my life I was controlled, and now I wanted to control.
She was baptized as a witch and given a special name. She began to cast spells to control those around her.
Just had this spirit of promiscuity and sensual over me that I can have anyone that I wanted. And I didn't want anything with them. I just wanted to control them. I felt like I can now, protect myself. I felt like I can protect myself now from men like that and from anyone else that would hurt me.
Morari continued to advance in the occult, but when the other witches wanted to initiate her children, she decided to break away. She moved out of town to make a fresh start. She thought she had left it all behind, but one night at home, she had a terrifying vision.
I see this beast just standing in my yard. And it was a form of a lion, but he was awful looking. And I looked and he opens his mouth. And I noticed someone is in his mouth. And so I yell out, "Oh my God, help, he's got someone in his mouth." And when he turned the person right before he's gonna swallow, I looked and I saw it was me. And I saw myself and he began to squeeze and I can hear my bones cracking and I can hear myself gasping for air. And suddenly, right before, I can see blood just gush out of my mouth. And all I could do was, and I hear a voice. And he said, "Merari, I've been calling you for a long time. If you don't come to me now, he's going to kill you." And he said it one more time. But this time he said, "Daughter." And all I remember was just falling on my face and just saying, "God." And I remember saying, "Lord," and I don't know why, I've never used that expression in my whole life. And I said, "Lord, please don't let me die. I receive you. I don't know you. And I'm sorry. But thank you for showing me where I was." And I just woke up. And my body, my spirit hit my body. And I knew that I just had the most incredible encounter with my Creator. And that He called me daughter. He was my Father. He was my Father. I never heard a man say daughter.
Morari surrendered her life to Christ that night.
I felt like different. I just felt clean. I felt something I've never in my life. God just came for me. And when I learned some of the scriptures, I knew that He left the 99 for me. I was that one, and just amazing. But I knew I was different. I felt renewed. I felt free.
With the help of a friend, Morari found a church and was baptized a Christian. She renounced her past involvement in the occult and has traveled overseas to share the good news of Jesus Christ. Her children are now grown, and she is married and mentors young women like herself, pointing them to the Savior who has taught her how to trust.
I have no control. It's amazing how I had to relent everything. He allowed me for a little while to have control, and so He can teach me what was the difference. And so I learned, He taught me little by little how to be a daughter, how to surrender, how to listen, how to discern. It's just amazing how He's so patient, because He allowed me to go through the process and help me through my own deliverance. I learned that God was my true Father, and there's no one that can replace Him. And He fulfilled me.